Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. As you can see here right on the screen, yes, you can see the words Cardassia, but what is to the 11 o'clock of that? That is this little purple cloud there. That is the Delphic expanse. I almost wanted to call it the Xindi expanse. Whatever, but that's where the Xindis live. And what's the theme this month and the previous month? Kill Xindi hostiles. Last month it was Xindi reptilians. This month it's Xindi aquatics. And we didn't have a whole lot come out last month to really help us battle these Xindis. You had a few favors that kind of did stuff. But the amount of currency needed to get some of these favors is kind of high. So when the second month rolls out, what happens? You think, oh, maybe we'll get an officer or a ship. Or maybe both. Well, no. What did we get? A new Xindi hostile, and the ship is only good against those specific Xindis. And you look at Captain Archer and you say, huh. So what am I saying to all this? Well, think about it. Think about it. What do you think I think about this? And I know it's been a long time since I've done one of these videos, but I'm giving 2 thumbs down and 2 middle fingers up. That's right. Finally, long-awaited next edition of What Was You Thinking? Let's start off with the ship, because that's the one that really bothers me. I could probably live with Archer, but the ship, it just... What? When I saw the ship ability, I didn't make a... That's stupid. For lore's sake, they get 1 point. 1 point in favor of the people creating this ship. For lore's sake. Because, take a look at the shield health versus the hull health. Now, the only thing I can think of, and it really makes sense, is can you make the shields absolute 0? I don't know. Though you really kind of do with the swarm, so could you with a player ship? Well, with all the research that increases shield health, can you actually make it 0? Could kind of wreck the game if it's actually marked 0. So you probably have to mark it at like 0.5% or something. A very small number. Then all the players' researchers increase it to, you see mine will be 226,000. But then the hull. This would be a level 1 NX-01, 29.5 million on the hull. As far as lore goes, that is pretty good. But here's where you lose a point. The Enterprise NX-01 increases its damage by blah 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 % against Xindi aquatic hostiles. That's where you lose me. Xindi aquatic hostiles. Now I understand the Xindi collective because that's really what it is. Or like the Covenant from Halo. They had a whole bunch of races because they had the prophets and then the elites and then the grunts and then the jackals. It's kind of like that. Different species. And then you had the aquatics, you had reptiles, insectoids, humanoids, the apes. Then there was the avians, but I don't see too many of them because either they disappeared or like mysteriously vanished, or they got killed off in a war. Pretty sure it was killed off in a war. So it was all these races, these species, deciding, oh, let's go kill the humans because some jackass from the future said that humans are the bad guys. But did the aquatics ever actually go against the NX-01? I don't remember that. I don't remember seeing that in the show. I mean, if I remember anything, the NXL1, they ran into some Xindi humanoid somewhere, and somehow he got them. He was convinced by Archwilder that humans weren't the enemy, and then they got in front of the council, and the council deliberated on who should they trust, this Archer guy or this mysterious jackass from the future. Well, I mean, it was the apes and the humanoids and the aquatics that sided with the humans, right? I got my facts there right? And it was the insectoids and the reptiles that said, screw that, we want war with everybody. So why is this really good, with this NXL1 in Star Trek Fleet Command, really good against Xindi aquatics and not like, let's say, Xindi reptiles or Xindi insectoids because, you know, they're the enemy. Or just Xindi. What were you thinking? How about that? As far as lore goes, I say you're wrong here because they never fought the Xindi aquatics. That's just me. If anything, the Xindi aquatics helped them get away because then they get inside the big Xindi aquatic ship and get whisked away somewhere. Well, that's what happened at the end. Now, again, and I understand you're not going to go completely with the storyline from the TV show. You really shouldn't go completely that way. Want to add a little bit of differentness to this. But you created two Xindi hostiles. And then you create a ship to help you in this loop, which you have to acquire different loots from these hostiles and refine them and trade them in for other things. Well, why is this only good against one type of Xindi hostile? Why? What were you thinking there? Does that really make sense to anybody? I mean, you think about the Vidar and the Vidar Talios and how many different types of Borg hostiles there are. Is it Talios only good against, or the Vidar only good against certain Borg hostiles? How about the Talios? Is it good against the Borg spheres and the Borg probes? So why isn't this? How about the Monetization? It's good against Texas-class hostiles or Dallas-class hostiles, one of those. But there's a few different types of those out there in there, because there's an Armada and there's two different types of hostiles. But you didn't just say Monavine is only good against automated Texas-class hostiles. How about the Voyager? How many different Delta Quadrant enemies are out there? Why did you not do it with this ship? Why? What were you thinking? I mean, I know exactly what you were thinking. You were thinking for some reason you were going to get shit tons of money for this ship. I, for one, hope that you're not, because I look at all the stupid decisions here and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Why don't you just come out and say, instead of calling this the NX01, screw you players if you're not a huge spender? Because that's what this is. Because you look at the number here. 200 blueprints to unlock this ship. Now, if you buy a $100 pack, you can get the 200 blueprints. So they value this ship at $100. But when the daily chess pool comes around, you can only get one. So free to play, or if you want to free to play this, 200 days. Why? The only reason there is because they want to encourage you to spend it. Want you to be encouraged to spy this ship. And to do that, they make the free-to-play path ridiculous. 200 days to get this ship free-to-play, that's bullshit. Bullshit is what that is. Now, maybe they'll come up with some kind of other way to get some of these blueprints soon. Maybe. But Now, I mean, you look at the ship ability, and yeah, sure, it's good against the Xindi Aquatics, but why? It has nothing for the Xindi reptiles. The only thing you can say is it'll have a little bit more hull than, let's say, a regular ship, since this is all hull. Okay, well, that doesn't really do anything. Literally, why? Why did you not make anything here with this ship good against the Xindi reptiles? To aid in some way. I don't know. Reduce the number of shots for the Xindi assholes. For all the Xindi assholes. Or something. You literally have two ship abilities here. Neither one of them do anything for you against reptiles. Why? What were you thinking, huh? What were you thinking? Yeah. Best I can say, you were thinking, screw all you players. Buy more packs. Kind of disappointing that is what you were thinking. Now, one of the other options they could have done is officers. You make an officer that's pretty good against the reptile. Now, Archer's captain ability is increase the amount of resources you get from destroying Xindi hostiles by 300%. Now, that is good. It will work against Xindis, but it's a captain ability, so you're going to want to put some synergy with him. None of the other officers really help you at all against the Xindi people. I'm not sure. Some people could argue that Trip Tucker decreasing the crit damage of your opponent could help you. Yeah, but there's the particle beam delay, so if that weapon is getting delayed, what does Trip Tucker do for you? Nothing. So yes, you can get more loot, but you still got to kill the hostile. Okay, so you get 300% more loot from killing a hostile. If you can only kill 5 hostiles per hull, my question to you is, how many can you kill with your normal ship? I hope it's 15 or more. Or, well, I hope it's 15 or less. Or, you know what? I don't know what I hope for. But if it's 15 or less, then you should be getting the same amount of loot. If it's 16 or more, you're getting more loot without Archer. Which is entirely possible if you pick the right crew. Like, say, maybe Pike or Janeway's pretty good against hostiles with her, well, no, because I would put it on the shields and they just ignore shields. So Janeway's not going to work. I keep saying that. I think I said that in the last video. But Janeway is very good, her officer ability, because of the isolated damage. Because the Xindi reduce your critical damage, the next way to increase your damage, the next way to get increased damage, it would be isolated damage or isolated cascade. Janeway has isolated cascade, so does New Data. So does New Picard. No, it's not that good of an ability. So I think I'm okay with his captain ability. I don't like his officer ability. I don't think his officer ability is that good. When you take damage from a hostile or another player, Jonathan Archer increases your critical hit damage by 5% for 2 rounds. This ability can stack, does not trigger at armadas or assaults. Like, literally, why did you pick players and hostiles? They were like, no, we're not going to have this work against armadas. Why? Okay. It only stacks for 2 rounds. And the way I explain it, or the way I believe it works, you don't actually get to take advantage of the full 2 rounds. You don't get the benefit of the full 2 rounds. Because your ship hasn't finished stacking up. Right? Your ship doesn't finish stacking up for 2 rounds until the end of the 2 rounds. Well, by that time, you've already fired most of your shots. So you don't actually take advantage of the 2 rounds. You're really taking advantage of only 1, maybe 1.5, depending on the firing patterns. And let's take a look at the firing patterns. Pull up our old friend Star Trek Fleet Command.space or FTSC.space. Taking a look here at the Xindi aquatic cruisers. This will be the interceptors. Yes. 5 weapons. One of these weapons only fires once in the whole battle, apparently. Which is odd. Like, why? Which doesn't help Archer. That actually hurts Archer because you'll get 5 activations of Archer in the first round. So you can take advantage of those 5 activations in the second round. But when the third round comes around, those 5 activations are gone. Which kind of sucks. But now you do get 5 activations. And that's nice. But as you can see, at least one of the ship abilities for the Xindi Aquatics is at the start of the round, this hostile reduces the player's critical hit damage by 2,500% for 2 rounds. Now, we're assuming that this ability doesn't stack. At least it doesn't say it doesn't stack. I haven't really messed around with this myself, but so what you're saying to me is Archer doesn't go with, at least his combat abilities, does not go good against Xindi aquatic hostiles. Cool, thanks. Why? What were you thinking there? Like, why can't an epic officer in this damn loop be good against killing the hostiles from the loop? Why? I mean, come on now. Take a look at the Xindi reptilian warships. X there, and I'm thinking X. No. 6 weapons. This 6 weapons is actually that particle beam, and with the particle beam delay, you can delay that for many, many, many rounds. You know, if you're up to 4 or 6 rounds or whatever, then it shouldn't be hitting you. Hopefully you can kill these guys before that. But again, only 5 activations. And as you can see, they're not, quite as good as the aquatic guys. But to start of the round, this hostile reduces the player's critical hit damage by 500% for 2 rounds. Now, I actually have to unlock Archer to figure this out for myself. But doing some of the testing I've done, it would appear that these ship abilities activate, drop your critical hit. Then, let's say your critical damage floor research kicks in simultaneously maybe. So your critical damage floor comes back up to, like, say, a normal percent. Then officers get factored in. So, yeah, technically you can get some benefit. Like, you'll actually get some critical damage with Archer. But at the same time, how much? You're only getting 5 shots. You saw tier 1 was 5%. What's tier 2? 10%? Okay, so you're getting an extra 50%. Alright, so it'll take you 2 whole rounds to get 100%. But then after those 2 rounds, you go into the 3rd round and you'll actually have 10 stacks. Okay. Whatever. I mean, I don't get what you were thinking here. It's like you had this theme of, we'll make these abilities work only after you get hit. And they've been doing that. New Riker, new Picard, Trip. Now, Jonathan Archer. Can the damn abilities just work? Why do you have to wait until the opponent hits you? I mean, I guess. I do kind of get the logic there, but some of these battles go so quick. And if you're only allowing it to stack for 2 rounds, you're just not getting that much benefit out of it. You're not getting that much benefit out of it. It needs to be a little longer than 2 rounds. So you can get at least 2 rounds. It's got to be 3 rounds or more, because otherwise you're not getting that much benefit. You're just not receiving the rewards from that officer building. So I don't know what you were thinking there. Why people think, oh, it stacks for 2 rounds, so it's good for 2 rounds, but you're not really seeing the effects there. Am I just ridiculous? No, I'm not ridiculous. Because it's true. The effects wear off before you can actually get the full benefit of it. It's these 5th or 4th weapons, once they fire, okay, sure, you're getting the ability. How many weapons do you have that are going to fire? Depends on your firing pattern. Some rounds you're going to have no weapons that fire. You're going to have that. So you actually getting the benefit of weapon 5? No, not really. Or at least a 2-round stack of weapon 5? No, you're not. So I don't know what people were thinking there, but I just don't see how Archer or the NX-01 seem to be helping with this loop. It doesn't. Other than Archer's captain ability, which does look like it helps. But then the officer ability just looks like it's there. Okay. Wrap this up here. Yes, I'm sorry if you wanted some kind of educational programming for Star Trek Fleet Command. Look, man. Not every one of these videos is going to be beneficial to you. And only you. Yeah, I'm going to need to get mine every once in a while. And yeah, some people, like say an angry rhino, just needs to come in here and vent. Yell, scream, curse, whine, moan, complain. Ask some stupid ass developer what the hell they were thinking. Making this dumb shit. Could have made the shit so much better. Like, especially this shit. This shit drives me nuts. What were you thinking when you decided that the ship abilities were only going to be good against the Xindi Aquatics? Why not make it good against the Xindis? All the Xindis. The reptiles, the aquatics, and whatever Xindi hostiles you plan on making in the next few months. Why? Why can't it be? It can be, you just decided you didn't want to. Okay, that's cool. Well, that's why I need to make a video and vent about it. Comment below. Do you have either Archer or the NX-01? And I realize it's early in the arc here. Have you tested them out? Do you think I'm wrong? And do you think they're really good for this loop as a whole? Okay, they're probably going to work against the aquatics. But how do they do against the reptiles? And if they're not that good against the reptiles, what is the point? And should they be good against the reptiles too? Should Archer and or this ship, the NX-01, help you grind against the Xindi reptiles just like they do against the Xindi aquatics? Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.